Okay, we're gonna go ahead and call the meeting to order. It is Tuesday, July 29th, 2025. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
One and up.
Okay, do we have any minutes and reports received in file?
No, we do not.
Okay. Commissioner Committee Liaison Reports, upcoming meetings and events.
We have some more VOEs this afternoon. At the livestock 4-H Polk County Fair auction Wednesday evening. Friday, got Eastside Business Association. We've also got bacon and ham auction and breakfast. And I think that's about it.
No, Sunday is Osage Bend
Yeah,
picnic.
yeah.
Now I got the right date this time.
All right.
Are you
I'll save it.
parking cars again?
No, I only belong to one parish. Only one can handle me.
Let's see, this evening or late this afternoon, they're in Centertown, MoDOT's having a meeting to talk about the Rock Creek Bridge deck replacement on Highway 179. Tomorrow, there is a Missouri State Tax Commission meeting. I hope to listen in to find out if we need a residential equalization order is coming to Cole County. We don't know. Thursday, Acrisure, we talk about health insurance for the county, correct? And Friday is, where is he? The guy hiding behind the pole, it's his last day, is Friday. Is that right?
Officially.
Officially. Okay. That's it.
Okay. Well, tomorrow, I am the program for our Lions Club, for our 250th committee. And then Thursday is the 15th birthday of our submarine USS Missouri, SSN 780. And Friday's Country Ham, Sunday's Osage Bend, so that's all I've got. Okay, presentation from staff, consultants, invited guests, and we have a presentation from Gary Plummer and for the chamber on presentation on child care works. So I will turn it over to you, sir.
Thank you, Commissioner. I want to thank all the members of the commission for the invitation to be here this morning. I'm Gary Plummer. I work for the Jefferson City Area Chamber of Commerce. We're here today to talk to you about a pilot program. We are applying for some state funding to stand up here in Cole County. It would help expand the accessibility and affordability of child care in our community. It's a very important issue that our employers are facing. The lack of affordable and accessible child care is keeping folks out of the workforce that they could really use right now as they continue to grow and expand. And so we have focused on this issue for the last couple of years through a group we call the Workforce Coalition, which is a member of has about 40 members on it, both public and private sector folks, including the educational community, some local government, and then also some state resources. But it's led by some major employers in our community. One of our guest speakers this morning, Paula Benny, who is with CNS Employment Services, has been the co-chair of the Workforce Coalition from the very beginning for the last 3 years. And she is focused very heavily on this child care issue. Sitting next to her is Shauna Kirperin, who is the Missouri Childhood Community Action or Leaders Coordinator. When we first connected with Shauna a couple of years ago, she was the child care community leader for our region. I have to give both of these ladies credit for the work they've done the last couple of years to get us to this point, to where Cole County has proven that we're one of the top counties, most innovative counties in the state right now for child care. And we have a way that we can take the next step in establishing that leadership role for this county. We are working on a pilot program that would set up an exchange program which would share the cost of childcare between the state, the employer, and the families. The chamber committed $25,000. Its economic development funds towards this effort. We're trying to match that with an additional $25,000 on a local basis. One of our asks this morning is for you to consider some county investment of $5,000 to help us reach that goal. We'll also be talking to the city and the school district, JC Rep, and some other natural partners in this cause. I'm going to turn it over though, to start with, to help you understand the model, and to Shauna Kerperin, and let her tell you a little bit more about this exchange program. And I want to point out that I think, provided a couple of handouts to the commission, one that you're seeing for the first time this morning, which just gives an example of how we would fund this grant, to this pilot program from the next year, and also how we would distribute the cost of one child if we were successful in moving forward with this. Shauna?
Well, thank you for having me. I'm excited to share about this project. We've been working with our community for the past several years, as Gary said, to really evaluate our child care system, our early childhood system in general. And we found that we've had many closures over the past 5 to 10 years. It really doubled down during COVID and post-COVID. And we were seeing that employers were having those struggles, as Gary had mentioned. This project is something that we have been working with the state. The Governor Kehoe is very supportive of this project. And so the concept of it is that the state would it's a cost sharing model. So it would divide the cost of childcare, which is very expensive, into thirds. The parent would pay a portion, the employer would pay a portion, and then the state would put in up to 40%. The caveat is the state will only put in if the employer puts in money. So they want to have buy-in from the community level and from the state level to help support those families. We're really excited to be potentially one of the first pilots in the state of Missouri to be able to access these dollars. They put $2.5 million into general revenue to support it this year. And we have been actively engaging business partners across our community and providers to see interest and how many would be able to support their employees with slots to fund them. So we're looking forward to be able to come up with a strong proposal to the state here in the next month, and to be able to access this and be one of the first communities in the state of Missouri to be able to do this. So other communities that are probably going to be looking at doing this first application process will be Springfield. That will be one of the two. Paula and CNS has been very active in working on this and helping outreach. They are going to be the facilitator of this project. And so what we're looking at right now is we have to put an application into the state of Missouri for how many slots we think potentially our community can access. So that's why we're evaluating our business partners to see how many they're able to support. And then the second piece of it is that we'll apply for this matching grant that Gary had referenced, that will be for the facilitation operation, the management of this activity. The state has taken a lot of the burden on with this, so it minimizes a lot of the impact to our community as far as FTE and time to be able to manage it. So that's very helpful, but the back end will be done by CNS in the chamber.
This is going to be, again, we're kicking this off first in the state, which is really impressive for Cole County to have this child care initiative. But it's going to be economically, when a family is having their child care reduced by almost 70%, that's going back in their pockets. It's going back into the economy of Jefferson City. It's going to help those young parents. Maybe I'll have that second child and not wait till I put my first one in kindergarten. Maybe it's going to help them buy that new house. I mean, this is a huge cost savings to our young families that they're strapped with. Childcare can be anywhere from $10,000.
The average cost of care for infants is around $12,000, 12 to 14 in our community. So.
A year, which is huge. So this is good for our parents, our economy. It's good for our businesses. And they're looking at Jefferson City to really shine here in the for the state, right next to the Capitol, to prove this model will work. And so that's what we're here for, you know, is to get support.
We're excited this is also gonna benefit our providers within our community. Sometimes we just think of them as the childcare providers, but they're also business owners. So if they have employees that they are supporting and offsetting some of the cost of care for their employees, then they can access this too. So those employees will have an even bigger benefit and hopefully help retain some of those childcare providers that are within those centers to stay there and continue.
And the important thing to remember on that is, let's say we have 20 or 25 people who work for daycare centers, childcare centers, who are taking advantage of this. That gives them a retention and attraction tool for new workforce in those centers. It's tough right now for them to recruit because they can't pay a salary that's competitive with other opportunities people have. But if this will help them retrain, grow their staff, and grow their capacity, then that helps every employer in our community, including Cole County. It just makes more childcare slots available because those slots are based on the number of their staff. Do you have any questions we can try to address?
One other benefit to this, which I think is really cool, is this, so a family can get subsidies up to 300% of federal poverty. This kicks in at 300% of poverty up to 550%, so this is catching middle class. This is, you know, we have a lot of people that won't take that job advancement, they won't take that raise, because that's gonna kick me out of subsidies. Now we have another, you know, avenue for them to go to better themselves.
Another benefit that we didn't mention is the federal government has also put in a 45% tax credit for employers that participate in this activity or in this. So if they get 45% tax credit for the investment.
So first, the employer comes on board as a partner, and then the employees of this employer can apply for this and.
Participate, it's like a benefit.
Yeah.
We have some models happening within Jeff City with some of our businesses that we started through our PIE partnership. So that was our first step a couple of years ago, and this seems just like a natural next step for our community. And we have a lot of businesses that are really excited and engaged in this. They think it'll be a great attraction piece for their business. To be able to say that they offer this benefit. We know that not everyone can offer it right away because you have to plan for it and budget for it a little bit, but we are starting those conversations, so they're starting to look at it for the future. If they're not able to do it right now, they're gonna be able to implement in the future potentially.
I think it fits under our economic development budget. It fits within it. I think we need to start down this road. I think I saw something in the paper this morning that the fertility rate in this country is at its all-time low. And part of it is we can't afford to have the next child or the first child. So I think it's a good idea to be on board with this from the get-go and see if we can't generate another worker or two or more to go out and to work, even with the family, young family.
I'm not really understanding exactly how it works yet. I guess we're gonna put money in to fund part of the grants.
So our ask today is for the $5,000.
$5,000.
We have to have $50,000 to receive the $25,000 grant, so we have to have a match for that.
So we're gonna have 100,000 that will go to, I'm gonna use my son and daughter-in-law for example, that they would have to apply for, and if they're eligible, then.
So their employer would have to be on board first, so the
Okay.
employer has to.
Let's assume they are on board then.
And then,
And then we'd only have 100,000, once that,
so most of
is
that is the
gone, or-
operation costs to be able to manage this for our community, the 100,000. Some of it will be able to help offset some of the expense of the employers within the community if they are not ready to stand up that piece of it yet. We're gonna look at potentially doing a piece of it.
Commissioner,
Yeah.
did you see this handout?
Yeah.
yeah, I've got
Okay.
it.
And
Yeah.
so really, we're looking for, it's
I
gonna
s-
be a buy-in from the community, from the commissioners, from different individuals. and-
I saw this when y'all emailed it last week.
Yeah.
And looked over it and got hold of a childcare provider and asked her about it. And, you know, she's kinda like we are, anything that we can do helps. I just didn't understand it exactly how it was working, so.
Yeah, our
um,
goal is to raise that first $100,000 and stand this program up in the county.
I think her concern is that she's not so much gonna benefit from it. I know y'all mentioned that she could, cause maybe she can get employees and stuff, but I think she kinda feels like there's not so much a supply issue as opposed to people not being able to, or even wanting to be able to afford the high cost of it. And then they got, you do have to make a decision if you're gonna enter the workforce and then pay that.
Yeah, our providers and with that own childcare centers within our community, they aren't out to make money. They're out to offer a service to our community, and it's not a money-making business.
Yeah, she'll tell you that. So,
But
yeah,
is
she was
she-
going through some numbers and I was like, man, why are you even doing this? Cause that's vicious. Why? You work
So
your
our
butt
hope
off
is
and
if they
whether they're
have-
full or not full.
Yeah, if they have some
So-
employees that they offer a benefit to already, that they'll be able to take that additional 40%, and that'll encourage them to stay with that facility longer because they're having up to 70% of their childcare paid for.
And that childcare provider is going to get a 50% federal tax credit as a small business.
Yeah.
So what they're already paying, they'll get 50% federal tax credit.
So then there'll be 50,000 that is eligible for them to apply for? Or that's part of the administrative cost for the program, and the program's what the state says they have. You said
So-
apply for slots, so it
So
could
we
be.
have to, we're evaluating our businesses right now, and so let's say your business, you said you're able to do 5 slots, or there's another business that's able to do 10. So as a community, we're going in with how many slots we're gonna request dollars for up to 50%. So right now, we're looking at over 50.
We've got 71.
71. We were looking at 20 originally, and then as people have learned
So,
and they're interested.
What y'all are doing is basically facilitating the application and stuff, where this isn't funding.
This is gonna be the
Actually,
management,
okay.
that'll go into the management of the dollars coming in and making sure that the providers are paid on entry, that, a benefits specialist is kind of what I've called it, because, we need to have somebody that really can talk to families, businesses, and the providers within our community about the activity and how it works.
That makes more sense.
The management of it, how the money goes in, what that looks like, payments, processes, all those things.
Okay.
Yeah, I think this is good. It's a pilot program, so hopefully it's gonna grow.
Yeah.
So I agree with Western Commissioner Otto that this is part of economic development, we need to be a part of it.
We've been on, Paul and I were just on a call last week, and a month ago, we were on the same call learning more about it. And there were some communities that were like, we don't know quite yet, we don't know if we're really ready to stand this up. Last week, it was a huge turn of tone, and we're like, okay, we need to make sure we're coming in with strong with our ask to the state right off the bat, because other communities are gonna jump on this pretty quick, yeah.
Now, we're just beginning to talk about 2026 budget here. So this is the first baby step into something we're putting into the budget potentially, is that?
I'm glad you brought that up, Commissioner. You're exactly right. When we make this ask to the city, it'll be out of their next budget.
Okay.
And the same goes for you all, because we don't have to provide all the local match up front. We have a few months to provide the local match. So you can do that at the timing and the pace you want to do that.
Okay.
You know, it's something to be mindful as you're looking at your budget too, is as an employer, that the city is looking at that as their employees being able to access a benefit like this next steps in the future, so doing budgeting planning for down the road. And that might be something that the county wants to look at, being able to offer some of their employees as a benefit.
I think it's good.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
For your time.
Thank you all.
And you're welcome to stay for that whole meeting. You know.
Thank you, sir. I'll watch you online.
We're not charging for this. Seems shocking.
You know, I think we're going to deviate from our agenda and maybe go to our unfinished business, which is the Russellville sewage discussion. Since we have such a big group here, I think maybe we need to address this, and then we'll go back to our regular agenda.
Okay, good morning. Well,
Morning.
this has been quite a path that we've got to get to this, where we're at now. Harry kind of months ago, I think at a commission meeting, we talked about solutions to two issues of on-site wastewater treatment systems that were not properly installed and functioning on two different locations in the Russellville area. There's city sewer right next to, very close to that location, of both of those houses. And so Harry wanted us to kind of put our heads together to try to find a solution instead of just trying to, force payment or whatever, or, so go ahead.
Just a little nugget of information. We keep calling it the Russellville wastewater, Russellville sewer, and it's not. It's adjacent to Russellville.
Right.
I mean, it's
Just
Russellville.
outside the city limits.
It is outside the city limits, so maybe some people would get the wrong impression when we use that term Russellville. We should be using next to Russellville, or maybe just county, right?
County.
It
It's
is,
a cold-
except that it's getting, we're trying to tie into Russellville.
Correct.
So they're
Right.
part of the solution, not part of the
Yeah,
problem.
they are not part of the problem. They are
Yeah.
part of the solution. That's correct. That's a good way to put it. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, no, that's fine. And so, funding had been, one of the main issues, I think, from both parties, initially, as far as, so discussion you had came up with, and we've had on actually how much it would cost. We've got bids, and I think All Clear had, so we've got a representative from All Clear here. So I think funding has been secured for both parties, is that right? And so, I think from my last discussion that I'm aware of, the only issue now is actually tying everything together. There had been a plan drawn up, to have one tank, but it was a divided tank, and that one boring to tie in both systems. And I believe I have heard that, unless something has changed, that now we might be trying to go to two completely separate systems. So am I right, Christina? Is that the situation?
I don't know, I've heard so many different variations on how it's gonna get done. I got the funding, got it paid in full, and the bank said they were not, for me not to give an easement because of the way things went down. So that.
And
was
I'm
between-
unfamiliar with the way things went down that would have created easements are very common in what we do, with on-site wastewater. We get easements. We prefer not to have easements. I don't want to act like it's just every time that we get easements, but, anyway, I don't know.
I do wanna verify,
Yeah.
they have paid everything up front to move forward. So on their end, they've done everything, I think is, they wanna move forward, so they have paid everything up front. So their payment is paid to do just one system for them. So I just wanna clear that up, so, cause I know there's a couple of things going on here. But
Okay, yeah, and so, I talked, with John Besson, with All Clear, and asked for, if, for the Carter situation, then if they were not able to tie in at the same exact location or get an easement through Pierons, what might be another approach to get them tied in, and do you have any idea?
I mean, we'd have to reroute it way down and then come back over. I mean, the cost would go up quite a bit. But I think she said here, I think she shook her head earlier, do you have yours taken care of?
The
Your-
money?
Yeah,
Yes, we have the money.
okay, I didn't know if you had a contractor, I'm sorry. I was
No,
just trying to.
no,
understand
we-
the process.
We're going through we've got the money through our accounts.
Okay,
Yeah, we,
so now I guess is just trying to find out if they'll give them easement, and at the end of the day, that's,
Well,
that's on them.
Sorry to interrupt, but what we talked with John, what he's saying, Sean, is they talked about doing the double lots right there together.
Yeah.
It splits the property, that way it's all in one line going across the road. Really, there's not really an easement for her because it's all gonna be tied in, but if something would happen, like she said, she's worried about what they're gonna do to fix it. You know, they gotta understand it's all gonna go back the same way it went in, or come out, so. And it's gonna be a lot cheaper, to do it all the same in the same area, I think, but that's my opinion.
I'm just the contractor.
So Christina, is there anything from your perspective as far as any ability to work a resolution out to provide an easement?
I could give an easement on one condition,
Okay.
because I have 3 children and she's got children that play with mine. Something's got to get done with the lagoon down there because the mosquitoes keep my kids from playing outside.
It actually would be taken care of when, if.
But this was before she ever bought it. that this
Okay,
was
and
going on.
let's just, so,
I mean, spray.
you tell them what they need and you see if you all can agree to that, I
If
think.
we can get something
probably-
sprayed on it, or, because my daughter,
Spray on it, get rid of it.
yes, because the mosquitoes, as soon as we walk out the door in the evenings, which it's cooler on all 3 kids, they are covered in mosquitoes. I've got pictures of my youngest son, his whole back is just bones. I mean, that is my biggest concern, and this was way before she got it, when Owsley owned it.
Yeah, it should have never been put in.
If I could say something, the last time that we have went out there to do, I guess, get an update on the situation, the lagoon has always been completely dry. There is no stagnant water in there to create pest harbor.
It does have weeds,
Yeah.
vegetation,
We've even had
so
neighbors
we would
ask.
probably want to, and I think there was discussion about possibly going ahead and bulldozing that and clearing it anyway, so,
are we able to speak?
yes, yeah, we're trying to get resolution.
If we can do that situation, because the lagoon hasn't been used at all.
It hasn't been
There's
used since
nothing in
Owsley
it,
was
so, if we're able to do this, yes, that was our goal, to flatten that out and get
Do
rid
you,
of it.
do you have the equipment to do that? All clear?
If this makes this easy, I'll flatten out for free, just to keep everybody happy, and we'll move on. I'll eat the labor on it. It's just labor.
I mean, we understand the lagoon's not been used,
Yeah,
but the problem of it is, with the amount of rain that we had this year so far,
Mhm, yeah,
it's like a bucket.
right.
It sits there, it catches the water, and down in underneath all the brush they pushed in there, I guarantee
leaves
you
it
there's
out
water
like
in
that
it
there.
right now.
Sounds
even
like
had
we've got,
neighbors ask where the mosquitoes and stuff are coming from, and you can stand there in the evening, and you'll just watch them flying on you and start biting.
Well, there's a pool there too,
My swimming pool, I've already talked to Rick Bowen.
because I have a swimming pool and I have mosquitoes around it all the time too, but
You
But
gotta
yeah,
spray.
we can go that route. I mean, we had already discussed that we would bulldoze it closed.
Yeah, okay.
I think we've got it settled then, so.
So 2 separate tanks then?
I think it'd be back to one divided tank, right?
That's the way I took it just now. She said she'd give her an easement over one section of the mosquitoes. She said she would take care of it. We'll push it over, and we have one tank, and then
Divided,
it's a win-win
so,
situation.
yeah, one divided tank.
Cost-effective way.
Right.
to get us-
Is that what I'm hearing? Is that what we,
So,
that's what I
Who
think?
takes care of the, how does the repairs go on that if you have one? How do you know?
There's 2 separate lines, it'll be explained.
Just so I know.
It'll
Okay.
be, cause once, you'll be able to tell which pump's messed up, if it's hers or yours, cause when you turn the
Okay.
pump on, one line will be, if it breaks, you're gonna know which one it is, cause you'll have to shut off until that one's going.
And each one has their own electricity, each
Yes.
one has their own
Yeah,
water,
that's
so,
what I had.
so no one is gonna be charged any more.
No, I had stressed that when they first talked about doing that dual tank with both properties and one set of electric, because either way you go, somebody's gonna end up getting something happen.
So now it's gonna be 2 separate electrics and everything.
That's,
Good.
I stressed that at the city council meeting, or
Thank
at the
you.
city hall meeting.
Yes.
Very much.
Thanks
I
for all the
have you
parties,
all cleared, so.
thanks for all the parties working together to get a
Well,
solution.
my biggest issue is I have 3 children, and they don't get to play outside as much as they like to, because we've been dealing with this since we found out where the mosquitoes were coming from years ago. I've been there over 10 years, and the previous owner had stuff hidden behind a big shed, nobody knew it was there.
Yeah, so, yeah, that sounds great. The lagoon will be taken, moved out. It'll reduce the, with yours corrected, any effluent that was, pooling up in that area or whatever, that'll be gone. So, yeah, that should reduce, get the vegetation also kept and maintained, will help with that. So,
Okay.
very good.
Good.
Everybody, does anybody have any other questions or issues, comments? Great.
Okay, thanks, Joe. Thank you.
Thank you all. Joe, thank you.
Yeah, thank you all.
Thank you.
Okay, back to our original agenda, bids and contracts.
I've been,
Approval and signing of MDHSS FFY 2026 WIC Local Agency Nutrition Services Contract.
Good morning.
Want me to read that again?
I know, right? So this is our contract with Missouri Department of Health and Senior Services for the Women's, Infants, and Children's Program, WIC. They're on the federal fiscal year, so it runs from October to September. I think that they probably have a small increase for next year. It covers most of the cost of WIC, so I'm just asking for that contract to be signed today, and we'll figure it in. I already have the numbers to put into the budget for next year. So.
I know. I just thought if we had it worked out, let's just,
Okay, so, I will make a motion. We have here.
It's WIC.
With the WIC, to approve the program services contract with the Missouri Department of Health and Senior Services for the WIC contract.
Second?
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Bid award of 2025-16 fire alarm system replacement.
We bid out the fire alarm system over at the Pranger Family Center, and we had 3 vendors submit a response. Toby did receive grant money for this project. Greg isn't here today, but he did review the RFPs, and he recommended going with Coursemeyer Fire in the amount of $14,300. And it's just a bid award.
Okay, you good?
Go ahead.
Okay, I'll make a motion to award the fire alarm system replacement to Coursemeyer Fire Protection.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, bid award for 2025-21 salary study.
We put the salary study out for bid and had the bid opening on June 16th. We had 11 vendors submit a response. We bid this out with 2 options. One's with the county providing all the job descriptions, and then one with the vendor providing all the job descriptions. After we reviewed the packets and we checked multiple references on each vendor, we interviewed a couple vendors as well, and Harry did sit on one of those with us. Our recommendation is to award 2025-21 to Condrey and Associates in the amount of $52,500, which is option 2, which they would provide the job descriptions for us.
So, I'm just trying to figure out how they provide the job description. I guess they come in and work with everybody, and we essentially tell them, and then they write it up so that maybe they're uniform throughout, so that's what.
Uniform, yes, but to get these descriptions, they talked about interviewing, was it 40%? 40% or better of each of the areas. So, you know, it would, if they did 40% of the total, but 0 EMTs and paramedics, that wouldn't be any good. So they've got to spread themselves around to all the departments, all the elected officials, and interview employees up to maybe a minimum of 40. Was that the?
That was the
They-
baseline.
They
They-
said they'd do more if
they-
needed to.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
I was impressed with the presentation. There were 3 of them on the Zoom call, I believe,
Yeah.
right? There was a lot of white and gray hair there, Jeff, on the screen, on both sides,
A lot of
with me
knowledge.
sitting there. A lot of knowledge, yes. They've been around, they've done business in Missouri. They were down in O'Fallon, among other places, and they gave us the names of several other towns, and we checked references on these people. So I think they know a little bit about Missouri before they come to do the work for us. And I think we had decided, the way we picked apart different asks and requests and pressures from different elected officials, different departments, and we keep bringing up the term, what's that term from 2004? Study, what was it?
Archer study?
Archer study.
The Archer study, the infamous Archer study, and it's time to quit using that term after 21 years.
We might have a bonfire if we get this done. We'll have a bonfire. We'll take all our Archer studies.
But, the different elected officials and different department directors have been picking us off one at a time, and it's time to get a little more united on the defense. And perhaps this will do it. Something that we can now rely on, and it's up to date, as opposed to being 20 years old.
So on that, when we get this done, then we'll have a big spreadsheet, and it's gonna have, each office is identified as, I don't know, program assistant or purchasing director. Then they have a grade and a step. So they may have different titles here and here, but they're the same graded step. But
They may, if they put the whole county back together, and maybe, if that's what you're talking about, yeah, that'd be grades and steps. The sample that they did was minimum, midpoint, and maximum. Now, they can add steps in there if that's what we prefer, but, they're just coming up with, they look at the market, I think, what did they say, they were gonna look at
15 organizations.
15 organizations, and they will talk to us about that, where we think, would want the market to be looked at, as far as what
And
other
certain,
employers.
in certain counties, we could ask them to look at.
Yeah.
They talked about comparing us, not only looking inside and getting us compared to different elected officials within the county, different departments, but also to look outside. And it is possible that when they look outside, we can't match the market 100%. We might be a 93%er compared to some calculation of around us. But with a goal of ultimately being equal to or thereabouts with our competition outside the 4 walls of the county. Of course, the big elephant in the room is the state. We've always got the state that we have to deal with in terms of salaries, benefits, retirement, insurance, and number of holidays. Just everything compares to the big player.
so they do weigh that all in.
They do,
Okay.
yeah. As I said, I was impressed with the presentation they made and their experience and how they look like, how they're gonna go after this.
Then you kind of mentioned, we may not be at the 100% salary, but if we have people that are way under, say, we'll just choose the 93, that's the number you brought up. So if we go with that number, try to get everybody to the 93. We may have somebody not getting any raises, and we may have other adjustments to get them to the 93.
Right.
And we did talk to them about the implementation of it, and if they were going to be here through that process, some of these were drop and go. You can tell by the way.
They would be here at least a year afterwards to help us, and per references, they helped them longer than that as well, if we had questions or needed
Went
some
back to
insight.
them for
Yes.
something.
Do they have experience with public safety, with
Yes.
jails?
And
Mhm.
Public Works.
Which was really, they mentioned 2 other people they would bring on just for that, the public
Yes.
safety part of it and the public works part of it, because it's so unique, and they do a lot of cities, a lot of counties, so they know where most of the employees are.
I assumed it was gonna be much more expensive than this.
Potentially, it could have been,
I-
what was
yeah,
the
I-
high bid, just 100,000?
Yeah, I'm
152,000.
pleasantly surprised at their bid.
They interviewed very well. They had 27 years' experience in business, and then some of them had more background than even that, but they did interview very well, they were responsive.
I just wanna make sure if we go through this exercise, we've got everybody buying into it, and that's exactly why we're doing it. It kinda takes a lot of subjectivity out of it, and kinda makes things a lot more black and white, the way I see it. And the Archer study worked as a guide for a while, but then if somebody didn't agree with it, we rewrote job descriptions and sent it back through, and it just, it's more of a headache, so I think it kinda got thrown to the wayside. I think this would be a great move if we could get this done. We do have career paths at Public Works, EMS. Is that gonna affect?
Well, we bid for the whole county, but we are gonna share those pay plans, and I don't know if they've already asked, but we've already shared some of that with the vendors as far as the different plans that we currently have and the job descriptions that we currently have, so. But yes, it was for the whole county.
Mhm. And we plan on submitting those jobs, or those salary steps, or whatever they're called, to them, so they have those.
And if they figure out a different way of doing EMS because of its nature of what it is, 224s, then that would be fine too, as long as we have a scale to look at and a grid to follow. If they determine that that's really not, it's a kind of a hospital standard kind of 24 hours of fire, we know that they're different, right? If they come up with a different grid for them, and then the rest of the county, or even law enforcement, if that becomes a different one, as long as we have a standard that we can follow.
So then you're saying they will maybe say to keep the career path? I'm gonna use Public Works since that's under us.
I don't
Or
think-
are we gonna?
I think they're gonna review it all over, just like anybody else's position.
I think they're professional enough to say, by the way, your plan, and I don't want to pick one of the departments
Right.
because we get it wrong, but that one's outside of the norms. You know, Cole County, where did you get this crazy idea? I think they're brave enough and assured enough of their own intelligence that
That's
they
what I'm
would say
paying
that.
for, to tell me what I don't necessarily wanna hear. So-
Right, right.
But on the other hand, it could come in and say, that's a great model, it should be
Yeah.
done countywide.
Can we use
So,
it somewhere else? Right,
uh,
that's
and-
true.
And maybe that's what we do. Are they gonna make recommendations for, say, people do go from different elected official or departments? So when they move, because we do have in the policy a certain amount they get if there's not a bump in pay. They do get something. And they don't lose their years of service or start over per se. So we've just run into a lot of stuff in this, and I don't know. That's why you can't retire, because we need all these questions answered.
But, I mean, they are here to stay, and they've been around a long time.
Good.
So I feel confident about being able to go back to them in your future, because things are gonna change. People's job descriptions change. And if you guys, just like we did with Archer, if you guys think it deems going back to them to get reviewed, to get reevaluated, then that's what we'll do. And that's kind of what we did with that 2,000 max, changing from one place to another, or one
Yeah.
level of, and they know longevity, right? They know where that falls and the compression part of all of that. So they were very wise to me.
So all the job descriptions we just did are all gonna change now.
Probably not. There are a few departments that, that I feel very strongly that they're in good shape and that they're not gonna have to do a lot. We are gonna provide them to get recommendations so that we can kind of meet in the middle. But there are a few departments, this kind of goes back to what I said 3 months ago, 6 months ago, that unless the departments work with me or a vendor to get these job descriptions uniform, complete, and precise, we're spinning our wheels. And so the ones that we have in place that have put a lot of effort in it, the departments that have worked with me very well, they're not gonna have to do as much work to get us to where we need to be. There are some departments that have fought me tooth and nail, to provide information, saying they didn't have to, they weren't going to, and they thought it was unnecessary. And those are the ones that are gonna be difficult for them to work with, just like they were difficult for me. But at least they have the authority to say, they don't have a dog in the race, they have the authority, and the wherewithal to say, this is where you really land, so that it's not a Sheila opinion that kind of stunts us. I think it's gonna be a great deal.
Well, I'm confident in the one y'all chose. I'm fine with bid, or awarding the bid to them today. And just, I don't know, there's other things we've run into as well that, I don't know if we make a list and how we
We can make a list
submit
and
questions.
ask them.
I mean, cause you can have a job that doesn't require a degree or maybe, you know, certain experience, and if somebody comes in with it, I mean, you hate to let somebody pass through, but do we adjust for that kind of stuff? There's a lot of stuff that came down to it, and a lot of times the commissioners had to decide, you know, were we gonna make an adjustment?
One of the other aspects, Jeff, is that when someone gets promoted and their pay is high enough that they're already at the supervisor level, so I think we've been bumping $2,000, so, I mean, that's a
Yeah.
good point.
I would love to have this where it's not coming down to us and us picking and choosing winners and losers per se.
And that's exactly like what Harry said about, they just, he said it best. They corner each one of you, you should have a plan, and this is the plan, you know, hopefully, what we get.
Well, we'll continue to be cornered,
Yes.
but by that time, we pull out our little summary of our salary study and say, this is our constitution, we're living by it now.
We'll get it laminated too.
That's
I got
right.
a brand new one, somebody broke the other one. Melody won't let me use it anymore. But she does like that new one, it's a little bigger and fancier. Okay, I'll quit asking questions about, I mean, I'll
Well,
say that
then,
later, so.
if that's the case, need a motion to
award it.
award the bid to, and give me the name of the entity.
Condrey and Associates, for $52,500.
That is my motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, yeah,
Thank you.
Yeah,
thank you.
That went better than I thought.
Hey, just think how great BOE's gonna go just as smoothly.
I think it's time, so we're good.
Okay, new business, accounts payable review.
We don't have a council meeting.
Okay. We are going to table the signing of the ASPCA grant application to a future date. So we will go to approval and signing of contract for public health emergency preparedness grant.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
So this is our renewal for, we call it the FEP grant, the Public Health Emergency Preparedness Grant. It pays for a portion of our emergency preparedness or emergency planner salary and a portion of our communicable disease nurse. It started July 1, but DHSS was waiting on confirmation of funding from CDC. And as we talked about, they only funded half of the contract at this time. I think they're waiting to see what happens with the federal budget. So Instead of the 48,000 that we usually get, this is for 24,267. So we're hopeful that the rest of the contract will be funded. Otherwise, we'll be talking about that at budget time. So I would ask that we approve that contract for the amount that has been given to us.
I'll make a motion to sign the CDC.
No, it's public health emergency preparedness.
I'm sorry, well, okay. Public Health Emergency Preparedness Grant.
It's an amendment, right? Oh,
Well,
this
it's
is-
called the CDC.
No, wait,
Yeah, it's a contract.
it's,
Okay.
it's a contract, yes, it
Okay,
is.
I misunderstood. I thought we were amending it to be only for the 6 months of.
No,
Okay,
it's actually for the whole year, it's just for 50%.
okay, so he said.
The Missouri Department of Health and Senior Services Program Services Contract. And
Public health emergency.
what am I reading?
This-
Public Health Emergency Preparedness Grant Contract.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
That was harder.
That went harder than the other things.
I'm sorry, I put it all on there, I didn't put it. That's okay.
Okay, we breezed through the unfinished business of Russellville, so.
No, not Russellville.
Outside of Russellville,
Correct.
yes, yes, yes.
So we did mention Mark. Have we heard anything about an appointment or anything, or do we know as where that's going, or?
Well, you, the presiding commissioner, touched base with the governor's office yesterday.
Yes.
The website, the governor's website has taken down the opening, so to speak. They only run it for 10 days, I believe, the notice, and that's been taken down. That's all we know as we speak at this
I
moment.
better reach out again.
Did you get figured out who's signing checks in? Because
Well, we've got a couple days.
we were talking about it last week,
Yeah.
and I just thought about it. so
I think
didn't know.
I think the statutes provides that if the office is vacant and the governor has not named a replacement, the commission can name an interim.
So next Tuesday, we may want to put that on the agenda to,
Sure, why not?
or even if we need to do it, if we gotta come in Friday and do it, if we got checks we gotta get out, we're gonna have to figure something
Well,
out.
Friday, he is still here.
So,
Yes, yes.
oh, I'm sorry.
Yes.
He's here through Friday.
Yes.
Friday's my last day.
Yeah.
I will
He-
reach out again.
His,
So
his,
Tuesday should
his last day is the 1st. There's a reason government employees retire on the 1st. There's things about insurance and retirement benefits and so on. So if you see one leaving on the 30th, it's probably because he was asked to leave. Or 31st. But we're
Okay,
still in
well, we
business.
just- I wanna make sure that we had it covered
Yes.
because we were talking about it last week, so.
Yeah,
I'll definitely put it on the agenda for
okay.
Yes.
discussion of it. I don't know if we
That's,
go yet.
that'd be the main thing. The office can run day to day with like the 2 current employees, and I'm still around to help. I promise.
We got
I'll
your
help
cell
with the
number.
transition, stuff like that.
We've got your cell number.
Yeah.
If not, we'll just have the sheriff make a pickup or something,
Well,
you know?
Know where you live.
I think what you do is you make him the interim and make him come back and work for free.
We've talked about that. We actually have.
With retirement.
So we can do it for free, right? No, I mean,
Yeah,
oh, we can do it that way?
you could.
Yes.
Because, the government and not-for-profits can have volunteers.
Well, that's fine with me. I
Now,
wasn't sure
if
that
it-
was a legal option.
Well, in the private sector, it would be.
Not sure how.
Oh, but it's not, oh, you're
Longer
saying it's not an option here? I cannot.
I'm saying in the private sector, of course, you would be, let me think about this. This is different from a regular employee. This would be an elected official position, so you could not.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Well, and it would impact loggers from what I understand, because they have to be fully relieved of duties for 30 days.
And if we still have them on checks and we still have them on stuff,
Yeah.
that'd be a problem.
Might be best not to do it. I don't know if
No.
there's
I'm not sure he passed the interview process anyway.
Are we having a big party?
If you wanna throw me one, fine. No, we're not having a
surprise.
party.
Well, Mark,
I retired
thank you.
once before, so.
Thank you very much for all you have done. And,
I've enjoyed it.
You'll be missed.
you can come back and sit in on our meetings just,
I
and
will.
make faces.
I will, just ask Jeff.
We need to have a call-in line, you know.
Okay.
Thank you all for all you've done, for the help too.
Thank you,
Appreciate
Marty. Sorry you're gonna miss the budget this year.
We are back at 1 o'clock today?
Yes.
Is it 1 o'clock?
1:30,
1:30.
1:30, that's
1:30
right,
today.
yes, yes,
right?
yes.
Actual.
Agenda says 1.
It was, Chloe changed it yesterday.
Well, after yesterday, she probably put 1 o'clock on purpose to make sure we were on time.
I represent that remark.
I was on time for once, that's because I had my schedule was early. so.
I would entertain a motion to stand at recess
Yeah.
to 1:30 PM.
Do we go into session then? I was delinquent yesterday.
No, it's not a commission, and we stand at recess until 4:30.
There you
A motion to stand in recess until 4:30.
go. Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Before we digress too far.
Maybe we should have announced the senior tax.
Here you are, ma'am. We killed a tree.
Thursday, yeah. Well,
You're still listening?
Yeah, I haven't started off yet.
Well, citizens can still apply for senior tax freeze through Thursday, July 31st.
Thank you.
What?